Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to really talk about my favorite free agency signing made by the New York Jets this offseason. Let's just cut right to the chase. It's quarterback Tyrod Taylor, backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor. I feel like for me personally, Tyrod Taylor just checks so many different boxes specifically for the New York Jets. When we talk about experience, right, 34 years old, he's been a part of 6 different teams. If my memory serves me correctly here, it's the Ravens, Bills, Browns, Chargers, Texans, and then the Giants. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody else. But now, of course, the New York Jets at team number 7 here. But the fact that Tyrod Taylor comes into this Jets locker room as an experienced veteran quarterback, a battle-tested backup quarterback, is huge. For me, you kind of don't have that fear as a fan. Deer in the headlights, Luke Falk, oh my god, I'm being thrown into the fire if, God forbid, the starting quarterback goes down. For me, at least, you kind of get this calm sense about Tyrod Taylor. He's been there, he's done that, he knows what to do, right? When you're first of all, when you're 34 years old and you're still in the NFL, when you've been a part of this many teams, chances are you know how to break down an offense, right? Chances are you know how to learn an NFL offense. You know where to go with the football. You can make good decisions. You're not losing games for your team. And then you flip it over to the defensive side of the football. Yeah, of course, you're going to understand defenses, right? Imagine how many defensive looks that Tyrod Taylor has seen throughout the course of his career, whether that's, on the bench in Baltimore, right, as a backup behind Joe Flacco, in film study, right, in practice and whatnot, just learning everything, really learning everything that the NFL game has to offer at such a young age, to him starting games with the Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns, right? Then him being kind of reverted back to a backup role with the New York Giants, right? So from an overall knowledge standpoint, Tyrod Taylor to me is a humongous upgrade over Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian. To have a guy like that back there where, again, nobody wants to picture Aaron Rodgers getting hurt again, but in the event that it does, we have to be realistic here, right? We can't just, move forward blindly thinking that Rodgers is just going to stay healthy all year. That's exactly what the team did a year ago, and the season was ruined because of it. Not the only reason. There was a myriad of different problems, lots of blame to go around, but that was, of course, the biggest complaint, the biggest, the first domino, for lack of a better term. Next, when we take a look at Tyrod Taylor's game, right, his physical game on the field, this is where I really, really get excited, because Tyrod has always, admittedly, I've always been a kind of a big Tyrod Taylor fan, even when he was the starting quarterback of the Buffalo Bills all those years ago with the Rex, in the Rex Ryan era. Comes over from the Baltimore Ravens as a free agent, wins the job outright from, I believe it was Matt Castle and EJ Manuel. I think Thad Lewis was also part of that quarterback competition, but I digress. Tyrod Taylor's on-field game gets me fired up, right? Because it's the game manager style of role. And, I know game manager has a lot of, it's kind of held in a negative light. People talk about game managers as a bad thing, but I look at it as a positive, especially if you have a good defense, especially if you have a good special teams unit. And then the cherry on top is, a good running back room. You have a dynamic receiver in Garrett Wilson, a steady, solid tight end room with Tyler Conklin and Jeremy Rucker. I mean, yeah, I really sign me up for a game manager. Zach Wilson, not a game manager, right? Tim Boyle, not a game manager. Sam Darnold, not a game manager. Tyrod Taylor does not lose games for the team. He does not put the ball in harm's way. He makes good decisions with the football. He does not get confused by the defense, and when he does, he just will simply throw the ball away, go down, scramble, pick up a couple yards with his legs. It's not a situation where, you're seeing Tim Boyle throw for 4 interceptions a game, or Zach Wilson, where it's like this crazy roller coaster ride. One week he's 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Following week it's 4 interceptions, 90 passing yards, and it's just a train wreck. And then it's this up and down, up and down. He'll go through a month of bad play, 2 weeks of okay play, then back to bad play. No. With Tyrod Taylor, you're getting consistent game manager performances. what is a game manager? It's somebody who might not make the wow plays, somebody who might not, give you the elite precision as an Aaron Rodgers, somebody who might not give you the elite playmaking ability of a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, but somebody who can hold down the fort, somebody who isn't going to put the defense and special teams unit, and even coaches for that matter, in a position where their back is against the wall, right? Sauce Gardner, CJ Mosley, Quinnen Williams, they're not going to be entering games thinking, man, we got to hold the opposition to one touchdown, because if they get anything more than a touchdown, we're going to lose, because their offense is just that incompetent, right? And of course, it's a team game. It's not, Tyrod Taylor isn't just the final piece of the puzzle here. But for me, again, going back to the start of this video, why he was my favorite free agency signing that the Jets made, because specifically he brings a lot of attributes, or he answers a lot of questions that the Jets had or were searching for a year ago. That is huge, right? When I think about Zach, when I think about Boyle, again, it was just completely incompetent. And again, there was so much blame to go around, but to go from those guys to somebody who, in my opinion, is a top 3 backup quarterback in football, it's a massive jump. It is a massive, massive jump. Another point as well is that he takes care of the football. Touchdown to INT ratio. What is it? 65 touchdowns to 29 interceptions on his career. I mean, I can't stress how important that is to get a backup quarterback with veteran experience. And when he's had the opportunity to start, he's been able to get in the end zone a lot and not turn the football over a lot through the air. That's big time, right? That tells me that Tyrod isn't forcing the ball into double coverage. He's not getting confused by the defense and saying, all right, I'm going to still throw it anyway. He's not trying to make plays out of thin air. If the play is busted, if the play is broken, he'll just toss it and just be done with it. Another point that I feel like is relevant to bring up, it gets me fired up when I'm thinking about Taylor's game and what he could potentially add to the New York Jets. He does check the ball down quite a bit. Now, you can say, all right, well, for better or for worse. A lot of people can argue, well, that's really the main reason why Tyrod Taylor never became a consistent franchise quarterback, was because he relies too heavily on the check down, right? You can jokingly say, all right, well, it's almost like the check down is the first or second option in every passing play when you're going back and watching a lot of Buffalo Bills games, Cleveland Browns games, when Taylor was the starter. 3rd and 9 situations, and within 2 seconds he's checking the ball down, gain of 3, gain of 4, and coaches are like, the play is not really developing at all. Why was the ball checked down so quickly? We're not really giving ourselves a chance, not really giving really the offense a chance to develop anything in the intermediate or deep parts of the field if the ball's coming out of the hands of the quarterback so quickly. Granted, efficiently, but still, how efficient is it if we're not picking up first downs, and also if the defense kind of picks up on, this is the type of quarterback that you are? Well, I would counter, in the Jets' perspective, that is exactly what the New York Jets need from a backup standpoint. I mean, Sam Darnold was not good at checking the ball down. Zach Wilson was absolutely horrible at checking the football down. We can talk about him either taking horrible stacks, running backwards, forcing the ball into double coverage down the field. But even when he did try to make a check down, the ball would bounce on the turf. It would just sail right out of bounds. It's like, I know it. I don't want it to come across as pathetic, right? Because we're talking about checking the football down at the NFL level, and our most recent quarterbacks have not been able to do that, at all, pretty much. So it could kind of seem like, this guy's just asking for a check, somebody to check the football down. That's the bar is set so low, but at the same time, that is kind of the reality. If we had a quarterback at the helm last season that could just dish it to Breece Hall out of the backfield, dish it to Izzy Abadakanda, maybe get Michael Carter more involved a year ago, somebody to put the football in play as opposed to having so many clock stoppages, so many times where you're just stopping momentum offensively. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stops, incomplete, throwaway, sack, check downs there, it just bounces at the running back's feet. It's like, if we could just get a little bit more consistent in that department, maybe the offense would continue drives a little bit more effectively. And again, that's an area that Tyrod Taylor excels in. So if we're talking about a backup quarterback here, I want somebody to put the football in play. I want somebody with a good TD to INT ratio, somebody who's been a part of the game for a long time, somebody who understands what the defense is trying to do to him, somebody who does have a bailout option with, okay, the check down is there, I can just get it to him and live to see another day. We can also factor in Tyrod Taylor's running abilities, which is one of probably my second favorite attribute that he brings outside of the deep ball accuracy. But man, Tyrod Taylor running around an open field is very difficult to bring down. I mean, I remember watching Bills games, specifically Bills Titans years and years ago. I believe it was in Tennessee, and Tyrod Taylor picked up it was like a 3rd and 24, 3rd and 25 or something, backed up in his own end zone. When the defense is in 3rd and long situations where they're rushing 3, rushing 4, dropping everybody back, he can book it and move, right? He can really pick up a lot of yards using his legs. And then we could also factor in Tyrod as a teammate. I really feel like Taylor's going to be kind of another coach in the room. For whatever reason, the Jets just did not replace Rob Calabrese with a quarterback coach. They just promoted Todd Downing from passing game coordinator to passing game coordinator and quarterback coach. Very, very strange situation, but that's the room, right? So I do feel like with Rodgers manning the starter position, Tyrod is going to be that voice, that extra quarterback coach in the room to help Jordan Travis's development and hopefully grow as a quarterback. So how does that translate to the practice field? Players will see that, right? Players understand that Tyrod Taylor is a great teammate, right? The leadership that he brings, it's been well documented. Every organization loves having Tyrod Taylor. No organization wants to see him leave, and I really think that's going to pay dividends, because when we talk about leadership with this New York Jets in 2023. This New York Jets regime in 2023, it was non-existent. Joe Douglas, where's the leadership from him? There isn't any. Solid, nope. Hackett, nope. Rodgers got hurt. There's really only so much that he can do. He's coming back and forth between California to the Jets sidelines for games, trying to help out. I really commend Rodgers for doing that. You have young guys that are getting impacted by all the losing and whatnot. Where's the leader in the room? We don't really have any outside of CJ Mosley and guys like that, but they can only do so much. Tyrod is a great leader. He's a great teammate, and I think his presence alone will help this football team. And the last little bit of extra positivity here, the thing that kind of puts it over the top, Tyrod Taylor signed a 2-year contract with the Jets. So in the event that Rodgers were to retire in 2025, we're not screwed, right? We have somebody out there that can run Hackett's offense. By the way, I think Taylor does fit the Hackett offense. When I'm thinking about the Hackett offense, I don't really think of 2023, because in his words, the offense was built for Rodgers, and Rodgers wasn't there, so he didn't adjust to Zach Wilson. So last season's offense wasn't really, I feel like a correct representation of what Hackett wants to do. It's more so Hackett plus Rodgers. I think of Denver, right? I think of the short crossing patterns. I think of getting shifty wide receivers in space to make plays. Again, the short and intermediate plays. I also think Hackett runs a lot of play action, which is another area that Tyrod Taylor does a really, really good job in because of his decision making. He doesn't force anything down the field in situations that he doesn't feel comfortable with. These guys almost have to be open or one-on-one coverage for Taylor to take a shot. So I think from a systematic fit, Taylor makes a lot of sense. But again, going into 2025, Rodgers retires. Whatever happens with Rodgers, he's just not there. At least you have somebody in Taylor who can step in and start a couple games to start the year out. If you want to draft somebody, great, you already have another leader in the locker room. And look, I don't want to go down this route, but if the Jets struggle this year, they clean house, no more Hackett, no more Saleh, the next head coach coming in can say, okay, I'm not in a position where we have 0 quarterbacks on the roster. I have one quarterback that I didn't draft, and then I have Tyrod Taylor, a proven veteran who's been a part of so many different offensive staffs, so many different teams in the NFL. So I really feel like this is a massive, massive upgrade at the backup quarterback position. My favorite free agency signing. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who's your favorite free agency signing? And as always, go Jets.